All right. Good morning, everybody. It is, what is it, Monday, March 13th, 2023. Good morning to you. Daylight savings has come, and we lost an hour yesterday. So here we are. It's a little bit darker than it normally would at this hour of the day. And here you can see we're in the Carenado Piper Archer 2, a newer release. I generally do not go with Carenado products, but today we thought we'd give it a shot here because the Piper Warrior from Just Flight is a hot mess currently. And I got to do some practice with something that's close to what I would fly in real life. So a little update about what I've had going on. I have now been flying again for the last about a week, since Wednesday really. I did 3 lessons this week, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and logged about 7.6 hours in that, and went remarkably well. I am extremely pleased with how all that went. On Wednesday was my first flying lesson in about a year and a half, a little more than a year and a half, and I was in the Piper Cherokee 140, which this is not. This is a 180. This Archer is a 181 technically with a 160 horsepower engine. The Warrior has a few less horsepower, but it's basically the same airplane, so this won't make too much of a difference. But anyway, the inside of it resembles this aircraft very closely. The yoke and everything, the plane I fly is like 1971 or something like that, I think, in the 71 or 72. And so it's an old airplane. These are all old airplanes, and it has sort of the box little yoke. Not quite as modern looking as this with the grips and stuff on it, so it's a little different, but it has it's all the same avionics more or less. It's got the 6-pack, it's got the 2 well, I guess these are a little bit different than what we have, but it has a GNS 430, that's what this is called, GNS 430 WAS. An older looking comm panel, but it's still basically the same thing, and it's got a nav radio here. This is an ADS-B thing that's right over here. ADF it doesn't have. So I'm just telling you kind of the similarities and the differences. It has the throttle quadrant, which I love, and the trim wheel, as is down here, is actually one of the crankers that's up here at the top. I don't think they do that in their newer airplane anymore. Oh, that is awful. Look at that. Shimmer, shimmer, shimmer. You should probably just get rid of that, Carenado. That stinks. It's nice that they actually move, though, because in default aircraft in this simulator, they usually don't. Anyway, windows open. Carenado does a nice job of modeling things, I think, in terms of the visuals. Maybe Just Flight's is a little nicer on the inside than this, but it doesn't matter so much as the functionality of these work. All of these is what matters. Specifically the GNS 430, this is the updated working title, modded, not a mod version, but it's the updated avionics in the sim give us the ability to use a pretty darn good GNS 430. Now the Just Flight, it doesn't work. It's not updated for that yet. So that's something that they need to fix, and they have forever been promising upgrades, and that airplane is just so twitchy that it's just not realistic enough to fly, so we don't fly it. So with all that said, Isaac, hey, good morning to you. It's been a while, buddy. It has been a while. I'm doing really well. I'm flying again, so I'm really excited about all of that. And as you can see here in the sim, we've got landing light and taxi light do the same thing, don't they? Oh, taxi light does nothing. Good. We've got a whole bunch of practice stuff to do. You see the weather out the window. It's it's not low IFR, but it is IFR. I think the ceilings, as I check the TAF, the recent METAR, I should say, 1403, it says scattered. Oh, so it's VFR now. But anyway, there's a scattered layer here at 700, which was broken not too long ago. So that's what we're seeing out the window there, and we'll get some good practice approach activity. Checking the digital ATIS at Greensboro. It is currently information echo 1403, variable at 4 wind, visibility 10, scattered 700, ceiling 14,000 broken. So these are much thicker clouds than I think what they're supposed to be. As looking out my window at home, it does not look like those are very big clouds, but that is what Microsoft Flight Simulator does. Isaac, man, it's really good to see you, buddy. I'm sorry we haven't gotten a chat in a while. How are things with you? It's always good to see friendly faces. So let's turn the battery on. Now in the Piper, that you turn the battery on, you automatically get this red light on, which is nice. That's how you are able to see the instrument panel at night. And let's go ahead and turn the avionics master on. There it goes. Is there a bus? I don't even know where the switch for this is, to be honest. In my Piper, it's either right here. I think it's right there. But anyway, it's on. Oh, is that it right there? Okay, there it is. So anyway, there's the 430. You flip it on. It's supposed to do an initialization here, isn't it? What is going on? Why isn't it doing... All right, let's do some setup here. We wanted to change that to something that isn't that. There we go. Don't want to waste a whole bunch of time needlessly moving through windows that we don't need to move through. It drops a number off here, which I don't care for a whole lot. Something weird going on. It's not turning anything on. Very strange. Interesting. This is not the behavior I've seen from this in all the videos I've watched. Interesting. Okay. Anywho, we move on. Things are great. I'm having a lot of fun with my indoor group, learning a ton. That's awesome. That is very awesome. A little baseline action for you. Let me know if you get any media or anything you want to share for your group. That would be awesome. I would love to see it. I'd love to share it on my with my groups. All right. Anyway, EGT. We don't really care about that a whole lot. Oh, there's a clock in here. That's nice. This is different. Okay. We got a whole bunch of things here that I'm not really used to. I don't know what this is. And I guess that's one of these, sort of similar. I guess. I don't know. The aircraft I have has two of this style. Anyway, that doesn't matter. What we need to do is get started up. I brought the iPad up. It doesn't have a whole lot of options for the rest of this. It's all, for any of this stuff, it's just basically changing out the navigator. Okay, so what we want to do is do a little pre-flight checklist here. Not a pre-flight, but a checklist here. So we go, let's see, Cherokee. I'm just on DuckDuckGo, Cherokee. I'll do the 140 checklist. So I'm gonna start eventually flying in a 180, which is really the same airplane. It's just a little more horsepower, not too much more. It's like 160 horsepower, so just like this airplane is. And I think it actually has an autopilot in it, which the plane I fly currently does not, and this plane does not. When we're flying here in the sim, it's not. So we'll be flying the whole way, which is absolutely awesome. Not something to fear whatsoever. Hand flying is good for you. So I've been doing all hand flying on my flights, and it is fun to labor against an aircraft again. I will say that. Do the toe brakes actually work? Oh, okay. Now the 140 I've been flying in does not have toe brakes on the instructor side or slash co-pilot side. Very nice. This is going to be nice. I think this will work just fine. And also all of these engine gauges are all just located right here as opposed to being spread out over 2 panels. Let's make sure we got left tank, right tank, fuel. So all the fuel's on this side, oil's over here. Amperage, this is the amp thing in the airplane I fly. The suction is still over there. EGTs are actually located here. There is no clock in the airplane that I fly in. All right. Okay, so anyway, here we are, pre-flight inspection. We've done all the externals. We're going to go ahead and actually, we do have all the covers and everything and the chocks and set and whatnot. So we will open up this little iPad, Carenado iPad that comes out here. And we're going to go all the way back to the beginning and say static elements off. And I can see all of that has been removed. The airplane is free of all that junk. And I'm going to go ahead and close the passenger door. Thank you. Goodbye. All right, so this door is closed. It is latched. All right, so turn that battery off. You can hear the gyros spinning down. Those gyros take forever to spin down. Several minutes. IRL. I have WGI finals run if you want to see it. Oh, okay. I would love to see that. I'm technically allowed to share, but I can if you want to see. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you don't have to. Don't post it here in this chat or anything. You can send it to me on Discord or something if you want. You don't have to. I will not be insulted either way. Okay, so we got all the external stuff done before start. Make sure the flaps are up. This handle has to be down for the flaps to be up, and 1 notch, 2 notch. 1, 2, 3. Good. And when that handle's down, the flaps are up. When the handle comes up, the flaps go down. That's mechanical flaps, everybody. That's not electronic flaps. Before start, that's where we're on here. Let's see, pre-flight inspection master switch is on. Let's turn on the master switch. And the alternator, we turn them both on because why would we not turn them both on? Fuel quantity checked. What do we have for fuel quantity? We're about half on either side. We're going to make sure we turn the fuel on to the left tank. Flaps are down. Tack hobs, we recorded. Walk around is complete. Flaps. Okay, flaps are up. Seatbelts are locked and on. Avionics master switch is currently off. That's good. Controls, make sure they are free and correct. If they feel free and correct. Parking brake is set. Circuit breakers are all in. We have a little flap door here that covers all these. These don't actually work in the simulator. Typical Carenado. Normal ops only. Okay, so master switch on. Anti-collision beacon. The beacon, boop, on. You can see that beaconing. The beacon is beaconing. Good. We'll go nav lights. Ooh. There's nav lights. Okay. Interesting that that toggle doesn't seem to work so well with this airplane. Okay. We have power to the aircraft. Mixture. Let's go set full rich. There we go. Fuel pump. We want to turn the fuel pump on. You see the fuel pressure come up. It isn't very loud. Much louder than that in real life. Fuel pressure check. That's good. Carb heat is turned off. Good. Prime as required. It's a chilly morning here. There's 1 prime. That's interesting that you just press it. This thing is really hard to move in real life. All right, 3 primes. Throttle open 1/4 inch. It's right about there. Prop area, clear prop. Don't be standing near me. Looks good. That's what that window's for, so you can yell clear prop. Ignition switch in the both position. You have to push it in and turn it. Here we go. Good start. And we'll make sure we power up right to 1,000. That's right where we are. I'm going to turn that down for us a bit so that you can still hear me. Okay. So that is good. We're making sure fuel pressure is still good. Oil temp is coming up, and the oil pressure is in the green. Oil temp's coming up really fast. All right, so the pressure's checked. We have 1,000 RPM. We're going to turn that fuel pump off. Avionics master, let's go ahead and turn that on. Make sure we get a good charge on the amperages. Where's that again? Here it is. Good charge on the amps. So the cell comes on. This is very strange. I don't understand what it's doing here. Okay, so anyway, we're going to go ahead and click Boona Boom. And we're going to see how this doesn't know that we're at KGSO. It's just not realistic, man. Alright, so let's go ahead and put KGSO. Come on, I just did this. There we go. This is not the updated version. I have just concluded that this is not the updated version. That is disappointing. Alright, so we'll hit that old button there, and we're going to go procedures. Push that in. Activate an approach, I guess. No, this is the same old stupid version. Alright, we're on 5, so we're going to do ILS 5 right to start with. Okay, so it actually changed all of that, which is what you want. Oh my god, that's a hot mess. Now why are we not showing me the map? Alright, bit of a false start here, guys. We're gonna have to pull out of this here. Hang on. Disconnecting from VATSIM. Alright, so go marketplace. We want working title. Alright, that's supposed to be in there. Owned. It says it's owned. Installed. And it's up to date. Oh, installation available. Well, that's what I want right there. Wait, that's, I don't know, man. Which one of these is the one that I want? Should I uninstall this one? makes it seem like it's... I don't know, man. I don't know. All right, let's give it a quitty poo here. Let's make sure I don't have anything that's conflicting installed also. That'll help. Get that out of here. All right, utilities. Let's get rid of all that. Sound pack, I don't need that installed. Aircraft. Get rid of that Just Flight one. AI models are in. Airport, just the Greensboro scenery. Okay, I think that's right. Let's try it again. I've not actually used the new version of this, so I want to try to get it up and running. New avionics would be nice. You guys probably can't tell, but I am a little bit under the weather today. Bit of a cold over the weekend. It's always reassuring when you just get that little bloop, a little blurb of the theme music when you start up the sim. Like, it just can't help but play that theme music. It's actually not at all reassuring. Anyway, so I found that the practice that I have been doing in the sim during my downtime of not having flown in the last year and a half, the practice in the sim helped immensely and made it so that when I hopped into the airplane, I was maybe not 100% efficient, like or proficient, I guess is the word I'm looking for. But I knew what the procedures were. I kind of had an idea of where I was looking and what I was doing with the airplane. I knew how to fly it. I knew how to maintain my speed and my heading and altitude and stuff like that. So that for stick and rudder, it's actually good. And for procedures, it's actually pretty good. So I recommend everybody use the simulator to practice those things. Even it kind of keeps your head in the game and current if you use it properly. All right. That's a pretty cool picture. Waiting for the sim to load. We are forever waiting. If you need guidance to control the aircraft, switch assistants to all assists to enable the first installment of the Microsoft Flight Simulator series was released in 1982. If you're wondering why you don't see the entire little text blurb at the bottom there, it's because I'm on an ultra-wide monitor, so that's why a lot of this stuff kind of falls off the edge. But you do see the center of the screen, which is the important part. That clickety-clickety-clickety that you're hearing. Oh, now it's working. Is my nav lights. So, there we go. Okay. We've got it. We have the combination. Anti-collision on. There we go. Ching, ching, ching. As my old flight instructor likes to say, ching, 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 when it comes to starting this thing up. Good start. Back to both. Avionics master. That's what we want to see. We want to see this thing actually like doing its normal startup and not just being on and working. All right, 430 WAS. That's what we want. Let's go ahead and set our transponder to the, there we go, altitude. To the customary IFR general code of 2200 on VATSIM only. That's not a real life thing. Don't try to do that in real life. It won't work. Let's go ahead and turn that ADF off. We don't need it. This is what we want. Okay. Base map should be load database via the Microsoft Flight Simulator. Terrain database via Microsoft Flight Simulator. Okay. Hit enter. All right. Now this part doesn't actually seem to simulate properly. For this page, the instrument panel self-test, what should happen is this instrument here, which is commanded by the GPS, should show CDI, this the left CDI here, should show half of it halfway deflected to the left and halfway up. But it doesn't show that. So it's kind of hard to say yes, but we'll say yes. I don't know if it's actually set to do anything when you do that. So anyway, everything's in the green here after startup. The temperature came up very rapidly, which would not actually happen in real life. Acquiring satellites, which I think this is all just faked. And there we go. Okay, so it has found us. We are here at, it shows Greensboro Airport. Now, does the flight plan page know where we are? No, it does not. All right, so we still have that issue. Let's go into... All right, theoretically, a lot of this stuff should work better. All right, anyway, let's go do this again. See, now this is why I could tell that it wasn't working right, because now we have this little button that you can press and you can say KGSO. Oh, I can type it all in my keyboard. Enter. And click on that, and we're going to put pagan. Enter. K G. So, and it also goes right to letter insert and not number insert after you put that K in there. So it is much more, let's say, intuitive now. It's more intelligent. All right, so we got the flight plan in. As we zoom out, we're showing the pagan intersection right there. We've got airspace defined. This is very, very good. Very, very good. Okay, we still got to figure out a way to change the intervals of which that uses. Planning, trip planning, all these pages, very, very nice. Now let's go back one. Okay, let's get that page works. Oh, look, there's some terrain data. Good, some traffic data. It's on standby, it says, which doesn't make sense. There's our satellites. Okay, we go to waypoint page. It shows us all sorts of interesting stuff about wherever November 83 is. Checklists, flight timers, setup, that's what I want. Okay, good. Nautical miles, feet, inches, mercury, Celsius, gallons. In. Okay, let's see what we can do here. COM configuration, that's what we want. Okay, that's good. That's the important one. There we go. Why is there two sets of the airspace here? That's strange. It's like an older version of it there. That's not tailored like that. Okay, anywho, here we are on the ground at Greensboro. We're ready to do this. Now, in real life, if I went in and said that I wanted to do a procedure, like select an approach, hit enter, we're at Greensboro, it knows what we want to do. We want to do ILS, 5 right, enter, vectors, which is something that you did not have before this. The GPS guidance is for monitoring only. Activate approach, you say yes. It should automatically put the localizer frequency in there, which it did. So that's good. And then we saw it was good. So all of that is automatically put in there. That is fantastic. Okay, so we've wasted enough gas. Let's go ahead and release the brakes, do a brake test, checked, good. All right, we're going to taxi out here and do a quick run up. Mostly calm wind, I believe. Wind variable at 4, so wind does not matter a whole lot to us right now. This thing is so twitchy, wants to really roll. Look at the bobbing on these taxiways, man. Ugh. All right, so let's turn in a little bit here so we're not blasting up on any of the jets that aren't parked behind us. All right, parking brake set. We'll do a quick run up. There's nobody on the VATSIM network right now around us, so not even on. There we go. No controllers. I'm pretty sure there's no airplanes, but we will check in a minute. We'll do all of our call-outs that we would normally do. Okay. Engine start. Taxi mixture. We want to lean it for taxi, but right now we're going full power because we're about to do our run-up. Parking brake set. Landing light is off. Currently, if you can see the off sign up there, that means it is off. Flight instruments check. We may make sure that the turn coordinator is centered. It is centered. Airspeed's not showing anything. We're level on the artificial horizon, and everything here is zeroed out effectively. Altimeter is 299.1. Basically, fueled elevation is selected. Good. Mixture is set full rich. Throttle, go up to 2,000 RPM. There we go, 2,000 RPM set. Engine gauges, make sure everything's in the green. Fuel pressure still good, oil temp good, oil pressure is in the green. We want to make sure that our gyro is sucking right around 5. It is, good. Amps are EGT, don't care. Amps are over here. Amps are positive, so we're getting a positive charge to the battery. Very nice. Everything is still zeroed. Excellent. We haven't checked for gyro drift yet. Anyway, we'll do magnetos. Looking for between 175 and 50 RPM drop. There we go. Right mag. Well, about 60, 75 drop. Back to both. Left mag. Slight drop. Good. Back to both. Check carb heat. Slight drop. Very slight. Back up. Watch this come right. Creep slowly back up again. Good. Park. Yeah. Carb heat. Parking brake. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. Okay. Vacuum gauge. 4955. Carb heat on. Throttle. I go back to idles. Back to 1,000. Good. And everything, it looks good as it calms back down. See the oil temp got up there. Okie dokie. So trim we want to set for takeoff. I don't know what that looks like. There we go. It's neutral. That's what we go for takeoff. Oh, this is too high. There we go. Right about there-ish. Okay. I think trim fuel pump set on. This is before takeoff. We're not doing takeoff right now, so off, on. There we go. Okay. So don't need that on for taxi. So go ahead and release the parking brake. We're going to taxi out. Make sure lean for taxi. Landing light will turn on for this part. Probably rolling. Need to look out the window. Huh. Weird. It was it wanted to roll at 1,000 RPM before. Now it does not want to do that any longer. Greensboro traffic, Snare 17, Piper Archer, taxi from Signature FBO to runway 5 right for practice IFR approaches. Greensboro traffic. Lots of bumps in taxiway here. See the jiggity jaggedness of the taxiway here. The sim does this by itself. It's just draping these things over, and right now it's not very flat. I apologize for that. Makes it a little fun though. Let's go and do a 5 right at Delta departure here, so I don't have to do all this extra taxiing, cross runways, all that kind of stuff. All right, so we're 22.8. This airplane's really wanting to turn to the left when we taxi. Not sure what that's all about. Alright, holding short here, parking brake set. I'm going to actually use 4-flight. Make sure I got my iPad set up for this. I've been using 4-flight in the aircraft, so in real life, so it's nice to make sure I'm doing everything the same way. Holding short of the runway, want to make sure I set our gyro correctly, which it is pretty much. I don't think it simulates gyro drift in this aircraft. Jack Spade, good morning. Yeah, I've got some sniffles, man. The bug has hit me. I've had the crud the last couple of days. How you doing, Jack? All right, make sure I have my approach plate up here properly. ILS 5 right. There we go. Okay. So 111.9er is already selected. OBS course, we want to make sure I set that to 054. I'm trying to get ahead of the airplane here a little bit, get all this stuff done ahead of time. There we go. 54 set. See, the needles have already deflected. This one's doing the same thing here, which is kind of strange. I don't understand this. Why it's important to me, I don't know. Okay, so that's all set. We can get rid of the flight plan page. Greensboro traffic, Snare 17, Piper Warrior, takeoff runway 5 right from Delta, departing to the southwest for ILS approaches. Greensboro traffic. All right, so tow brake set. Brakes, okay. So the tow brakes and the parking brake on this aircraft are actually the same braking system, so it makes sense that if you have the tow brake set when you release the parking brake, it's going to release it would release your tow brakes in the actual aircraft as well. Why am I not rolling? There we go. Flaps are down, fuel pump on. There's ForeFlight telling me I'm getting on the runway. Alrighty. Well, let's see how this airplane flies, shall we? Powering up. And she wants to turn left. I'm in a ton of right rudder right now. That was way easy. Way too easy. Okay, so we're airborne. Going a little on the fast side right now. I got to pull back to 80, climb out at 80 knots. There we go. All right, 1300. We're going to turn right to 090. Make sure we do a coordinated turn. We're going to climb to 3,000 feet. Now let's bring it all the way to 140-ish. Straight crosswind. Okay. All right, 2,000 feet. Just over 80 knots. Climbing pretty rapidly here. Gonna go a right turn out now to 230. I tend to be a little bit lazy on my turns, but something I need to get better at. Try to hold 80 knots. The nose is going to want to dip down when you're turning. Rolling out on 230. There we go. Beautiful. Still 80 knots indicated. 2,500 for 3,000 coming up. Alright, so we gotta kind of center up on that. 3,000. A little bit of power out. Right about there-ish is good. Still climbing a bit. Oh, don't want to climb. I'll say this airplane flies pretty straight. It's pretty straightforward how it flies. I think in terms of flight model, it is definitely functioning better than the Just Flight Warrior. It's smoother. It's still a little on the twitchy side. I think that's just the flight model in the sim. Not displaying our ground speed. That's a bit interesting. It should have that on here. I guess we could set that up in the display. All right, pretty well trimmed out. We are kind of going in and out of clouds, which is what we want, a little bit of actual. Man, this thing is sensitive to pitch. See how I pushed it down just a little bit and just vertical speed went plummeting. Set up for a touch and go on 5 right, and then we'll go out and do another one. Maybe do an RNAV approach after that. See the fluctuation in altitude happening here. Airplane's slowing down quickly here. It's really dodgy, the aerodynamics. It's not as twitchy as the Just Flight. Hopefully they fix the Just Flight, because I think I prefer that in terms of the plane's actual functionality to this version, because it's more of a what's the word? More of a study level type of thing. All the buttons work and everything. All the switches work. More functionality out of the avionics. A little bit, I guess. But this will have to do for now. I could use the Skyhawk again, maybe. But this is the plane closer to the plane I'm actually flying in real life. Skyhawk's a high wing, less ground effect. Not that ground effect is all that well simulated. Alright, so we're getting into the gray stuff, which is what we want. Into the soup. Really, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time with anything in front of us really on display, because this is supposed to be simulated. This is instrument training, where it's not really supposed to be looking out the window. I don't have any second monitor that shows you anything that you can't already see, by the way. Trying to maintain altitude. Pagan, we've just passed Pagan, so pretty soon we'll start a base turn. Staying on the 230 heading. Oh, there we go, climbing again. Man, this thing is sensitive. Barely any input from the yoke, and it just wants to climb and descend. Climb and descend. Okay, getting ready. Oh, come on, getting a little high again. It's getting a little pitchy. Alright, it's just about time for us to make our base turn. Greensboro traffic, Snare 17, Piper Archer, right base runway for ILS runway 5 right, Greensboro traffic. Gotta get my feet back on the rudder here to coordinate this turn a little bit better. Control just the heading and the altitude. I should be coming right to about a 320-ish. Make sure to control the altitude also. It's a good standard rate turn here and rolling out on 320. And right at 3,000 feet. Still pretty gray outside. 320. 3,000, oh, climbing up a little much. Let's get that nose down. Pull out a little bit of power. Little down trim, nose down trim. I have the luxury here in the sim of having a trim control on my right here. This modeled version of the airplane, you can see it actually going up and down. trying to trim it out a little bit. It's not really wanting to play ball with me too much. All right, anyway, we're watching for needle deflection. We got the localizer is off to our left. We got the OBS course already set. We are in VLOC mode, which is where we need to be, VLOCO. Just trying to maintain that 320 heading in the altitude. We are descending. We don't want to do that. So now we lost a little power. Add a little power in. Waiting for the localizer to come alive. All right, I'm going to go right to 020. Right rudder. A little more. Zero 10 and 0. A little more. 20. Good. All right, we gotta get back to altitude. Okay, localizer's coming alive. There's our altitude. And we'll make a right-hand turn. Try to join. Pretend you can't see that. Maybe a little premature with our turn. Some lift again. Alright, glide slope's alive. I want to get north facing up. Or I want to get aircraft direction up on this. It's just north being up all the time. It's not. Oh, Jesus. Altitude. Here comes the loc. All right, now the test. How well does this thing do an instrument? So here comes the glide path, and we're going to cut power and add in, well, we've got to get the whole climbing descending thing fixed first. Let's go power back to 1800 RPM. Alright, and we'll go a notch of flaps. You're well right of the localizer now. Notch of flaps is in. I'm going to come back to the localizer. Oh, keeps wanting to bail out to the right here a little bit. Oh, we are descending super fast now. It says I'm on glide slope, though. I find it a little hard to believe. I don't see how I can be so on the glide path. That doesn't make sense. Unless it's not working. There it goes. Okay, now we've got to drop down a little bit, and we're almost on the localizer. There's the localizer. Needles are maybe a little overly sensitive. under the glide path. I'm trying to correct for this stuff here. I really am. There we go. So I really want to be kind of... I want to pitch for 80 knots here. Let's try to do this approach at 80 knots if I can. There we go. Right. Hang on. Hang on. Right there. Oh, a little much. A little much. Come on, airspeed. Come on. Man, this thing's hard. It is tough to control this plane. See, I'm like 70 knots here. All right, anyway. Our minimum here is 1,100 feet even. And we're 2,600, so 500 feet to go. Speed, we're trying to still get... Oh, wow, it's just wanting to fall right off here. We are way right, and we're low. Should be fixing the low part. What is this airplane doing? Alright, 500 to go. Yeah, these CDI, these needles are not right. It's way too sensitive. And it's making it really hard to follow. Alright, 200 to go. Yeah, we are way off to the left now. Altitude's not bad. Alright, 100 to go. Remember, we're going to be way to the left. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. And minimums. Okay, there's the runway. In sight. Bleeding off speed. Bleeding, 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 bleeding. Bleeding. There we go. Alright. Flaps up. Wow, this... Gosh. Just wants to pull way left when you touch down. What is this? That looks like fun. Oh, let's get over that. Just like that, we are airborne. Try to speed this up here so we can get around here one more time. So I guess what we're really testing here is just how well this Carenado aircraft simulates, that's how well its flight model does with, and how well its instruments perform. So far, I'm not overly impressed. The GPS is not part of Carenado's package. This is stuff that the simulator does. The GPS is working very nicely. Kudos to the working title for really bringing that functionality into the sim. The rest of this stuff, these needles don't behave correctly. The thing is very pitchy, and I don't like that. But I've had problems with pitchiness in every aircraft in this aircraft, the sim, I feel like. Alright, coming up on 3,000. That's a little more like it there. Alright, I guess I've got it trimmed out pretty well here. Come right to 230. Yeah, the input sensitivity is just nuts. Like you point the nose up just a little bit, it wants to climb. You point the nose down just a smidge and it wants to drop. I have to be, look, now it just went boom, right down. Very hard to maintain altitude. Yeah, this is just way too sensitive on the controls. Like, for how much the yoke is moving, the plane should not respond that much. Let's go menu. Setup map. This. Is there a place I can display the ground speed? Oh, look at this. We're climbing at 1,000 feet per minute now. This is just so unrealistic. My goodness gracious. So pitchy. Auto zoom, land, data, aviation. Like that. Good, good. Push in. Okay, we're going to come right. I feel like the plane is just not doing what I want it to do here. not quite outside of Pagan yet, so I'm going to come right to 320. Do like a 270. Half standard rate turn, 3/4 standard rate, something like that. Just gradually come to west. And roll out. There we go. Alright, pretty leveled out now. It's trimmed decently. That's just so sensitive. A little goes a long way. A little more nose up trim. Now it just wants to pitch up like crazy. Right, just a little bit here. Turn especially, very hard to maintain altitude. Look how fast it's turning, and I'm like not even half standard rate. Now climbing like crazy, just a little bit of pitch up and up it goes. Not a great flight model. People are singing this airplane's praises, and I don't get it. It is so stinking sensitive. Pretty forgiving on the roll. The roll seems to be okay. But the pitch is, man, oof. It's probably about time we changed fuel tanks. We got the pump is on for that. Good. Look at that. We're descending like crazy again. Climbing like crazy. See how it just goes from one extreme to the other so fast? I don't like that. Waiting for the localizer to come alive. Should be pretty shortly here. Okay, now we're climbing again for some reason. Here it comes. How do I get to show data here? Like, I want to see how far I am from the track. Gosh, man, look, I've just climbed like 300 feet. How? How has this happened? This thing is so unstable. Now, I'm way right, of course. This is frustrating. This airplane does not do this. Now it's climbing again. You can't trim this thing out to save your life. Oh look, now I'm climbing again. My nose is still down and I was climbing. Look, my nose is down, I'm climbing. How is this happening? No one answers. 1,000 feet per minute. Give me a break. Alright, Carenado, you're playing. It's better than the Warrior, the Just Flight Warrior right now. I can give you that. Look at this, 700 feet per minute climb. This doesn't make sense. I can't tell where I am. This is just awful. Okay. Coming up on Pagan, I'm too high. I've got to start leaning out. Powering back. I'm way above the glide slope. I can't find the localizer to save my life because that thing's twitchy as all heck. Let's go flaps 1. It's not ballooning at flaps 1, so that means that doesn't work right. Yeah, the pitch profile in this plane is just horrendous. Approaching at 90 knots, which is not what you want. You want more like 80 knots. Throttle back. Somehow I've gone way right of the localizer already. These needles are not right. I'm having to really put some back pressure on the yoke just to get it to even like slightly entertain the idea of slowing down. Oh jeez, that's going to cost me. Okay, here comes the glide slope. I'm not that far behind the needles in the real airplane. And it's not even a bumpy day. It just doesn't look. I've been going left. Ugh. I'm right of course again. Not terribly, but I have to put in a little more power here because the glide slope's coming up. And it's just not correcting either. This is frustrating. More nose down. Such a pitchy airplane. Oh, see a little bit of power and it just started climbing like crazy. Completely lost the glide slope. Okay, now I've got to come right because I've just gone completely through the other side of the localizer. Here comes glide path. I've actually got the needles kind of, yeah, see that the pitch is just, ugh. I can't do anything with it. And now look at that, the glide path. Look, I'm climbing again. My nose is pointed down and I'm climbing. Alright. Now I just can't find this dang localizer. Here it comes. I'm way high. This is insane. I'm on the right speed, I've got power out, and I'm climbing. This is just not right. Like, Sim, what configuration do you want? You want me flaps 2? Let's do flaps 2. Okay, am I ballooning? No. It's not ballooning me. Alright, flaps 2. Let's see if it changes anything. I shouldn't have to be in flaps 2 to land, to do an approach. That's just not right. Look how I just don't have any power in the airplane right now, and look, I'm at idle. Throttle is idle right now, and it's idling at 1200 knots. It's turning right just constantly. I can't find the glide path. Look at it. Look at this. Jeez. Alright, this is the last lap. Look, I'm idling and I can't slow down. Two notches of flaps, I can't slow down. This is ridiculous. 65, 60. And then it kicks way left. This is insane. All right, Carenado, your plane's a piece of garbage. Oh, look at this. I can't turn the plane. I can't do anything. Well, that was insane. Flaps up. What, now I can't turn landing light off? Oh, whatever. Whatever, airplane. Whatever. Okay, I've had enough. I like this. This is very nice. Let's see if we can get it up in the Warrior. No, I'm not flying the dang Warrior. Let's get the Skyhawk. Let's see if we can do any better than that. Am I like 1400 RPM? No, that's not what 1000 RPM sounds like. Set. Well, that was something. It was frustrating, that's for sure. Very frustrating. So that was our experience with the Carenado Piper Archer, a hot mess, aka a hot mess. All right, let's take that down and add-ons, linker, utilities. There's nothing special I have to do for the Skyhawk, I don't think. Sounds I have to put on. Aircraft, WB-SIM. That should be all I need, I think. Let's. Oh, that was for PMS, what I was thinking. Don't want that PMS thing. All right, here we go. Let's try this again. It's frustrating, man. You want the sim to work a certain way, and it's just flight model's so bad. Do not make me move to X-plane, please. Please. there even any Cherokees in X-Plane? The new one, that is. I have X-Plane 11. I've purchased that. I have not purchased X-Plane 12. Curious to see if there's any Cherokees in that sim yet that are good. Cherokee Modern and X-Plane 12. I'm interested in purchasing it, but I'm not sure if it'll work on X-Plane 12 or not. It's been optimized for X-Plane 11, I believe. I've read that most aircraft from X-Plane 11 should be compatible with X-Plane 12. To all our lovely customers, I'm sure this is from Flight Air. Just as we are, you're excited about the release of the X-Plane 12 Early Access Edition. I'm sure too many of you are wondering which of our products will be supported, how long it'll take, will there be a cost, etc. Initial point to remember is that the current release, blah, 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 blah. On personal testing, Cherokee 140 Modern appears to work without issue in X-Plane 12. That said, as per my above post, we have not yet fully converted our products over to X-Plane 12. This X-Plane 12 is itself only a beta. Okay, that makes sense. All right, let's do this. Let's get rid of this hot mess. And I want propellers. Sarah's Carenado Ovation. No, no, no. There we go. WB Sim, Skyhawk. Yeah, let's just do that one. No pants. Don't need pants. Don't need skis. Liveries, default. I like that one. Okay, so we got that. Let's try it again. Greensboro. See how we do. Let's see how we do. Hey, Fred.
Would it be a problem if he hangs out in here with you while I go get Cassie?
That would not be a problem.
Okay. I'm gonna close this door then so he doesn't
Okay.
fall down the stairs.
So I guess our X-Plane 12 is technically in beta still, so means I don't have to worry about that. All right, so let's reacquaint ourselves with this aeroplane. Junior is playing with the throttles. All right, let's set that off. How do I bring up that? How do I change this? I don't think I can. How do I turn those off? Is there a way to do that? There's got to be. How to remove all the tie downs and everything. Where do I click? There's got to be. Is there a click point for that? Is there I don't think it was an iPad. Oh, that's right. I had to turn this thing on. Okay. Avionics 2. Yeah, on, please. There we go. All right. That should all be removed. It is. Good. Everything looks good on the outside. Oh, bonk. See what happens when we do all this. All right, that didn't work. All right, dude, that's enough. You don't need all that. We don't need your help that much, buddy. Should not need to prime it. Something dead wrong here. We empty? No. Fuel is not flowing. Why is fuel not flowing? There's fuel in it. Okay, this could have something to do with it. That was the culprit. There it goes. 1, 2, 3, off. Okay. All right. No, buddy, don't touch that stuff, please. Okay. So the airplane sort of working. Having to reacquaint myself with the ins and outs here. Oh, look at that. It's got the new Garmin's, I think. Yeah, WB Sim. No, it's not. It's not. There's our amps. Oh, slightly positive charge. Okay. Yeah, it's the WB Sim version, which we don't want. We want the working title version. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at posts right here that say about the TPS, but I don't think anybody has been able to figure that out yet. Anyway, what I want to do is... Actually, we don't need any of this. Really what we need is this. I like that all of this is in there. That's generally what you would expect from a 430 WAS. All the stuff on the right side. Okay, let's go out and see if we can fly ourselves a little traffic pattern. And while we're here, we'll turn that on. Realism on. Guess you can't do that when it's already started. Okay. Release brakes. Ooh, look at her bounce. short, do a quick run up. No carb heat or anything to worry about in this aircraft. Static air, make sure it's in. It is. All right. Sure everything's green, amps plus, fuel flow good, EGT up. Green, oil temp still has to come up, but the oil pressure is good, fuel pressure is good, vacuum is vacuuming. All right. Release, here we go. Greensboro traffic, Snare 17 Cessna Skyhawk, takeoff runway 5 right at Kilo 2 for practice approach. Weather has changed significantly. Much easier aircraft to taxi. And we've got to go past whatever this is. About to get a bump, guys. Be ready for it. Boing! And airplane crashed. ELT is going off. Excellent. Way to go, simulator. Alright, don't run. Don't land 5 right. This is a problem right here. How did that make it into my sim? Okay. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Flight sim, if that's the way we're going to play it, that's the way we're going to play it. I think that's a good sign as any that it's time to call it quits for the day. Thanks for joining. It's been an interesting trip so far. A little, what is this? A little under 2 hours. It was a experience. We did a couple ILS approaches and a subpar simulated what is it? Piper Warrior or Archer, I should say, from Carenado. Don't buy it. It's a pitchy mess. I mean, it's better right now than the Just Flight. I have a feeling that when and if Just Flight ever updates theirs, that it will probably be the sort of the go-to again. But I don't know. I hear that the Black Square guys are doing some great things with GA airplanes, but the Bonanza is the smallest one they've done so far. That's a pretty big, powerful airplane. That's more than what I need right now. So hoping for something better. I'm sure that WB Sim Skyhawk would work just fine for practice approaches and stuff like I want to do. But, well, let's give it one more shot, shall we? Let's give it one more shot. I'm going to go in here, airports. I'm going to turn off my modded version of the Greensboro Airport so we can see buildings again. You lucky dogs, you. We'll give it one more try. One more try. This is the problem with Microsoft Flight Simulator. Every time they update something, every time there's a sim update, it breaks things like crazy. I guess X-Plane does that a little bit too. X-Plane does do that. It has been known to do that to a degree, but I just feel like their updates are far less drastic, and it just goes to prove that, you know, how many years in are we to flight sim already, and I feel like the Asobo team doesn't know anything about aviation. They don't know what a plane is supposed to fly like. So they make these changes that don't have the effects to flight that you would think they would have. Like, they're making things that they think are supposed to more realistically depict the world, but they completely whackball the way planes work. So I guess if you take airplanes that were originally released when the sim, closer to when the sim first came out, several different flight model versions ago, that they had to be patched up to fix the way that Asobo modeled their flight model, so that the plane would work like it does in real life with a broken flight model. So as the flight model improves, the patchwork they did to the flight model of the aircraft doesn't match the flight model of the simulator anymore, and now it's incompatible. So it doesn't work the way you would want it to work anymore. So I guess that's kind of a little bit of I'm trying to explain away some of this stuff for them. I guess I'm not trying to be an Asobo apologist here, but it seems like the less